Okay, so just finding a position on your back and lying down, whether that's with the knees bent and maybe the feet a little bit wide, knees falling in, or you can just lie yourself nice and flat with those legs out wide. So you might place your hands on your belly or in your heart, or maybe let those arms fall wide. So just allowing yourself to land for a moment. Just looking at the body from head to toe and just thinking, are your shoulders up by the ears? Can you bring them down and away? Maybe tuck the chin in a little bit and rest the back of the head down. Maybe there's an arch in the spine and you might be able to kind of lift and tilt that pelvis to flatten the back somewhat. Maybe notice there's gripping in the fingertips or even the toes. Can you have a little wiggle and let go of all those little joints that do so much for us? And then maybe closing the eyes, just softening the face, any tension in the forehead, in the mouth. Just letting yourself come to rest. And just tuning into your breath. So as always, knowing there's no right or wrong, good or bad breath here, but we're just witnessing at first where the breath is travelling without trying to change it. And then we might start to direct the breath a little bit deeper. So in through the nose, trying to fill up that belly. Out through the mouth, allowing that belly to drop. Inhaling, filling up. And exhaling, letting go. And then just counting your breath. So inhaling for a count of 4. Exhaling for a count of 4. And make it your count of 4. If that feels like that seems very short for you, maybe you're counting super slowly. So belly expanding and rising on the inhale for 4. Dropping and relaxing on the exhale for 4. Then we're going to add in that breath retention. So inhaling for 4, holding at the top for 2, exhale for 4, and then pausing the breath at the bottom for 2, and going again, inhaling for 4, holding, exhaling for 4, and pausing the breath at the bottom for 2. So keep that going, that count of 4 to 2. Again, maybe counting super slowly or even lengthening, but keeping that 2 to 1 ratio. And then when you finish your next exhale, just allow yourself to release the breath. Let it be any counts, any rhythm, no holding. We're just going to take a little bit of a full body stretch and just start to wriggle the arms overhead, press the feet away. Oh, yawn, let go of any morning tension and sleepiness perhaps. Then we're going to walk the feet over to the left side of the mat. So the right heel is going to cross over the left. And then we're going to wriggle the shoulders and the upper body over to that left side as well. And we can grab hold of that right wrist. So we get our banana shape going on here. So we're just making that kind of curved shape through the body, little side stretch. Breathing, trying to keep the shoulders flat and the hips flat to the ground. And then carefully we'll walk back the other way, or not walk, but wriggle back along the mat. So bring the heels to the right side of the mat, left heel crosses over the right ankle, and wriggle the shoulders over to the right side, and just pull that left wrist over with the right hand. Banana shape on the floor. Just noticing perhaps which side of the body feels tighter today. Or where the tightness is on either side, and then coming back through to centre, and just bring the feet flat onto the mats and knees a little bit wide, arms nice and wide, and we're going to just drop, feet wide so that the knees can drop in. So we're going to roll those knees side to side, windscreen wipering, so we can look to the opposite side as we roll the knees. So we get a full twisting motion in the body. So we're going to explore a few more twisty options today. Looking at how that can release our fascia. Fascia being that kind of cling film that covers the whole body underneath the skin, on top of the muscles, but it weaves in and out of muscles, tendons, ligaments, organs, it goes everywhere. So we want to affect it by loosening it, because if it's tight in one area of the body, it can affect literally the whole other end of the body. So start to just draw the knees in and give them a little bit of a hug and rock side to side, just massaging that lower back. I like to keep my knees wide when I do this, but you might like to hug them into the chest to round through the lower back a bit more. And then we're going to start to rock and roll our way up to a seated position. So take a little bit of gentle movement, keep the chin tucked in, rocking, rolling, making it a little bit bigger, bigger, bigger each time. And then when you come up to find your seated position, just cross the legs in an easy cross. So we're sitting up nice and tall. And we're just going to take a little twist here. So we're going to take a big inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky. As we exhale, we'll take one hand to the opposite knee, dropping the other hand behind. So we're lifting tall as we turn, tall through the crown of the head. Breathing when we're in our twist. With each exhale that we're here, we might find we can twist that a little bit further as we relax things. One more breath. And on the next inhale, we'll lift up. Hands back through centre, and exhale, twist to the other side, lifting as you turn. Each exhale there, just trying to gently twist that a little bit further. And then carefully just roll your way back to centre. So we're going to come on to all fours. Spreading those fingertips when you get there, really grounding through the hands, and just take a little bit of thought to kind of using these claw fingers so that we can take a bit of pressure off the wrist especially, but off that centre part of our hand. So it's actually kind of a gripping sensation, just gently. We're not trying to force anything there, but just takes the pressure off the wrists. So we're going to dip through the belly, start to lift through the chin and chest, and spread through the collarbones. And then we're going to press the floor way round through the spine, tucking the tailbone under. So just moving between the two with your own rhythm of breath. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to push the floor away, round through the spine. Breathing, let the breath start to engage the movement. And just again feeling where there's any tension through the front of the body perhaps, or even the back of the body. And then we'll come to a bit of freestyle. You might want a little bit of uniform here, and if you do, then we're going to circle opposite directions for our head and our tailbone, so we find that figure of 8. But if you prefer a bit of freestyle here, we're just going to wiggle in any direction. So you might take some circular movements, you might be coming forwards, backwards again, you might kind of take a little mini twist, half twists, just finding the little bits of parts of your spine and movements that feel like they need a little bit more kind of attention there. So just moving any which way that feels good, involving the neck, the head, tail all the way down to the tailbone. And maybe a little bit of rocking forwards, backwards as well to engage the wrists and hands. And then when you're ready, just coming back to stillness. If you're dizzy at all, just looking straight down. So we're going to tuck the toes under and just sit back for a moment. So we're just in that little mini squat. So make sure the toes are spread and see if you can even get those little toes tucked right under as well. So make sure all the toes are connected to the floor. I just looked at Poppy, she looks so cute. She's got a hoodie on and her hood's like sat on her head as she's sleeping. So just rolling down. So we're in that little tucked toed child's pose. And just walk the hands forwards and you can engage the arms, lift onto the fingertips so we're a bit into tented fingers there. Breathing. And just feeling into those maybe tight feet or stretching into the toes. One more breath here. And then just gently walking those hands back under, keeping the toes tucked. We're going to lift the hips and we're going to walk our way into that first down dog. So just finding a nice length of your down dog with your hands away from the feet, and then just maybe pedaling here just to find some length through the backs of the legs. So really let the head hang heavy. Maybe pressing into the hands as we push those hips up and back, knees might be bent. Let that head dangle and be heavy. And then we're going to walk the feet towards the hands, so just walking in, bend the knees as much as you need to and find that forward fold when you get there. So just drop the head, grab the opposite elbows with the hands, take some swinging and swaying here. Find that long belly breath, inhaling and then even longer sigh to let go. And then just let the arms dangle. We're going to roll up super slowly. So tuck the tailbone under, just start to stack the spine, one vertebrae on top of the other, rolling up slowly. And let the head, neck and shoulders be the last things to come up when we stand. So we're going to look at something that helps calm the vagus nerve. Our vagus nerve is the part that's in control of our fight, flight, freeze. So we want to make sure we're doing good things for it to keep us nice and calm and bringing us out of that stress response. So this is something you can do maybe first thing in the morning or at any time. The people that I learnt this from say that you should do this before anything important. So that could be driving, that could be a meeting, that could be whatever. So I'm not going to mirror you, so I'm going to talk you through it. So the right foot is going to cross over the left. And you can do this seated as well. If you've got a chair, you can feel free to do so. So right foot crossing over left, right hand under left armpit, left arm wraps around onto the shoulders. We're kind of giving ourselves a little hug. So we're going to look over our left shoulder first with our head. So keep the head turned. Then we're going to twist the body to the right, but keep that twist over the shoulder of the left. So we're in a bit of a weird twist. So breathe. So we're going to inhale 3 times through our mouth. So inhaling, exhaling through the mouth. So 3 times. Inhale, exhale. One more time through the mouth. Each exhale you might find you can twist that a little bit further in both directions, opposite directions. Now in through the nose. You can breathe out through nose or mouth 3 times. In through nose, maybe again increasing that twist on the exhales. And when we've done our 3 breaths, we're just going to very gently unwind. So this is that fascial release we were talking about earlier. So just gently unwind, unravel everything. Maybe give it a shake. You might choose to walk around if you have space, or just have a little move, a little gentle twist. So when we've unraveled any fascia, we might need to just move, let the body kind of feel into it. So maybe just take some sways, some swings, some gentle twisting motion, so that we can get that nice movement flowing through the body. Nice. And then just, if you're twisting, just let everything slow down super slowly. And stand. And just take a moment to find mountain pose with your feet just underneath your hips. So spread the feet, spread the toes, sorry. And squeeze the glutes gently. Palms wide or facing inwards, but shoulders down and back, and just stand. Close the eyes, tune in. If you do get any yawns or any sighs, or swallowing even, that's a sign that the body's gone into that parasympathetic state. You may not get it right now, and that's okay. Good. So we're going to take a little bit of warm up. So if you're not at the front of the mat, just coming to the front of the mat, just big toes close or touching, spread the rest of the toes. Shoulders down and back, palms wide. Taking a big inhale. Sweep those arms up, palms to touch. And as we exhale, dive forwards, tipping from your hips into that forward fold. Inhale to a long flat back, Surya Namaskar A, our sun salutation A, folding down on the exhale. You might step back to that first one or jump if you feel ready to. Hovering down, you can drop knees if you need to. Inhaling as you lift. Spread the collarbones as you exhale. Press the hips up and back or push through that little child's pose first. So dangle the head in your down dog, really pressing those hips up and back. Shoulder blades away from one another. Find your breath here. Use that belly breath to build that warmth and that fire. One more breath. Look between the hands, bend the knees, walk, step or jump feet to the hands, come to that halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Sweep the arms wide and up, palms touch, extended mountain. And exhale to release down. So we'll go again, Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, reach, palms touch, exhale, diving, tipping forwards into your fold. Inhale, long flat back. And exhale, forward. Walk, step or jump if you're jumping, land in chaturanga, or if you're stepping back, plank first, then hover down. Inhale, lift to up dog if you're ready. Exhale, press back to down dog. Breathe, build that fire with the belly breath. Head relaxed. Long exhales. One more breath. Oh, excuse me. Look between the hands, bend the knees, walk, step or jump in, come to that halfway lift, and fold. Sweep the arms wide and up, palms touch, and exhale to release. Beautiful. So we'll go into sun salutation B, Surya Namaskar B, so sitting back into our chair pose, maybe lifting those arms up if that feels good, maybe even lifting the eye gaze. That tailbone under, breathe. And as you exhale, forward fold. Inhale, long, flat back. And exhale to fold. Walk, step or jump back. Hovering down. Lifting through the chest on the inhale. And pressing back on the exhale. So left foot turns 45 degrees. Bring the right foot through. Give it some help to get there if you need. Press into those feet, lifting up to our warrior one. Looking and squaring off to that front edge. Sink into that right knee, breathe. We'll stay here for a few breaths, so just adjust shoulders away from ears. Again, building that fire with the breath. And on the next exhale, frame that front foot, step it back. Hovering down, awesome. Coming to up dog on the inhale and pressing back on that exhale. Right foot turns 45, left foot steps through, pressing into those feet. lifting up, breathing, finding that strength of our warrior one. Strength through our legs, our foundation, our feet. And as you exhale, frame the front foot, step it back, hovering down. Inhaling, and then pressing back to down dog. Dangle that head heavy. Breathing here. Two more belly breaths here, so find that long breath. Push the floor away strong with the hands. And then look between the hands, bend the knees, walk, step or jump in, come to that halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sit the bottom back, sweep the arms forwards, all the way up, tucking that tailbone under, long through the spine. Beautiful, breathe. We're going to stay for one more breath. And exhale to release. Awesome, so we're going to go full speed through Sun Salutation B. Feel free to take any options, skip bits out that don't feel right. Otherwise, if you're ready to go for it, we'll go through full speed. That just means one breath per movement, so we're not going to pause in our Virabhadrasana. We're going to stay, come up to Warrior One and come straight back down. So sitting the bottom back, inhaling. As we exhale, tip forwards, forward fold. Inhale, long, flat back. And exhale, fold, walk, step or jump back. Keep the exhale going if you can as you lower down. Inhale to left. Exhale to press back. So left foot 45, right foot steps through, inhaling to lift. Warrior One, exhale, lower down. Hands hovering all the way down with that exhale. Beautiful. Inhale to lift. Exhale to press back. Right foot 45, left foot steps through, press into feet, lift as you inhale. Exhale, coming down. Inhale to lift through the chest. Exhale to press back. And this is where we catch our breath. 3 long belly breaths here. 5 if we were doing the full practice. One more exhale. Inhale, look between the hands, walk, step or jump the feet in. Long flat back as you exhale, forward fold. Sit the bottom back, sweep the arms up, tuck the tailbone under, inhale. And exhale to release. Beautiful, well done. So we're going to take twisting options as we said before. So right foot staying forward, left foot stepping back, just a little turn out for our triangle pose. So we're going to square off to the front edge of the mat. Left arm reaches up, reaches forwards first, and then we take that hand on the outside of our right leg. So this right arm might start to peel that shoulder back. We can keep the hand on the shoulder, no, that's your hip, and bring the right hand up to the sky if it feels better. So breathing. Beautiful. Steady the eye gaze, maybe looking down to keep that stability. One more breath. And then we're going to windmill open with those arms. Just twist through the feet, pivoting round to face the back of the mat. So squaring off those hips to the back edge of your mat. Big inhale as you lift that right arm this time. Reach forwards over that straight front left leg and take the hand on the outside of left leg. So peel the left shoulder back, twisting towards our front leg and maybe lifting that left arm up as well. Beautiful. Can always use a block here if we ever need. And you might find you get more of a twist when you lift up a little higher if you've got blocks or books that you can use there. And then as we inhale, start to unravel those arms, twist back to the front of your mat, big step in. Samasthiti. Good. So we're going to keep the right foot forwards, step back into a lunge this time. So you might have your hands on your hips, left leg stepping back, And again, we're facing towards the front edge of our mat. So our left arm reaches up. Let's take a little back bend even if we want to. Find a little extra movement. And then as we exhale, we're reaching forwards. And take the elbow to the outside of that right leg. Hands come to prayer. Twist and rotate that body towards the hands. So heart and hands are trying to reach one another. Maybe we spread those arms wide. So back leg, we're pushing long and strong. Breathing. Awesome, guys. One more breath. So carefully, gently, as we release back through center, we'll cartwheel around the hands, pivot on the feet. So the right heel is lifted. We're in that lunge on our left knee. And then we reach that right arm up and back. Maybe take a little back bend first. And then as we reach forwards with the right hand, elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. And we're twisting towards, heart to hands. And if that back knee starts dropping, press it strong along. Beautiful. Maybe again opening arms wide if it feels good. This top arm can even come up and over so we get that extended side angle. That's what we're in, but revolved. Breathing. And then carefully unravel, twisting back to the front of the mat with those feet. Stepping in. Lovely. So we're going to take just a short step back with our left foot, finding our pyramid pose. So we can use our hands behind in any version. We can just hold wrist, hands, forearms, elbows. Reverse prayer down or up. So that left foot just slightly turned out, right foot front, squaring off as we fold forward. So we might just fold just halfway flat back. Or maybe we're folding all the way down over that front leg or somewhere in between. So breathing once we get there, using those exhales to wiggle our way forwards, and even just thinking about the feet as always, our foundation, just spreading the toes. Can you wriggle them all and place the toes back down with some space? Breathe, pushing both hip bones back evenly. One more breath. And as we inhale, lift through the chin and the chest, and we'll twist around so that we're facing the other way. Our left leg becomes our front leg. So again, squared hips to the front or the back edge of our mat even as well, when we're thinking about the back of our hips. And folding maybe just halfway flat back, maybe folding that bit further. Breathing. Each exhale is that chance to just drop a little further into a posture, if there's room, if there's space. On the next inhale, lift through the crown of the head, gently release the arms as you turn back to your front of your mats and just give those shoulders a roll, a little shake out if they need. Beautiful. So if you do have a block or a book, you might want to use that. You don't have to. I'm sure we've all done this one without, but just as an option. So we're just going to turn the feet slightly in, stepping wide, toes slightly in, heels slightly wide. If nothing else, we're at least straight and nice and square with those feet. So taking a big inhale, we're going to take a little baby back bend. So just open through the shoulders, hands come to the lower back, squeeze and open through the chest, squeeze the bottom, maybe just lift the chest, that's enough to back bend, stretching that front side of the body. And as we exhale, tip from the hips and find your fold. So you might rest your hands on a block, you might be low enough to have those hands flat to the floor. You might want that block nice and low so that you can get the hands nice and flat. The idea here is we're drawing those elbows in at 90 degrees, so we should get a nice tuck at the elbows in towards one another and the head drops. So hopefully you can see that with my arms, they're dropping back. So the crown of the head is trying to drop towards the floor. And we're breathing. So the upper back is really active here. We're squeezing the elbows towards one another, opening the shoulder blades as we do that. Just check that the head and the jaw isn't active. We don't want tight squeezing jaws. Relax the face, breathe. And then gently just start to come up halfway. We're going to take a little twist here. So leave that left hand in the centre and peel the right arm up to the sky. And just as you do so, check you don't bend into the right knee and you don't pivot those hips towards the right. We're pressing and lifting, but trying to keep those hips square. You might look up, you might keep looking down. Breathing, feeling into that twist. And as you exhale, next time land the right hand in the centre, press into it, lift and peel that left arm up to the sky. Makes such a pretty shape, this one. So breathing, looking up if it feels okay for the neck or down. Big inhale, and as you exhale, fold forwards. And this time we're going to ragdoll, so just grab the opposite elbow, let the head dangle, or if the arms just flop onto the floor if they're near. Sigh out, let it go. Long sighing exhales are good again for that vagus nerve. We're dropping into the parasympathetic state, that calm state of being. Press into the hands, just start to lift up, come to the halfway, hands can come to hips. And as we lift all the way up carefully, just heel toe the feet in unless you feel you might want to jump in, but let's go gently if we've been there a little while. Beautiful. So just going to work through our lymph now and get that all flowing and moving. There's like our big six, we call them, our choke points that can get really, really blocked up when we have bad posture or sit lots. So we're going to come to our collarbones first. So have a little poke and see, it might feel a bit tender and then we know that they're probably blocked. So we're going to start just by rubbing here. Give it a nice little rub through. You can do both sides obviously at the same time. Might use the knuckles gently, but it's very, very light touch. We're not getting any kind of pressure in there too much. So nice and light, rubbing over above and below. And we can even just slap above and below. Say slap, tap, should I say. And in there. Then we're going to come to that little bit behind the jaw and the ear where that connects in there. So we're again just gonna, you might poke again, it might feel tender and tight and sore. So we're gonna rub into there. Again, you might do both together. You can even use a little scratching it, a little bit of your nails. If you've got skin brushes, this is really good with a skin brush or a toothbrush. Getting in there, both sides, and even just a little sweep down the neck as that starts to drain into our big drain here that we've just unblocked. Good, and then we're going to find just in line with our nipples and just a little bit higher on our pecs, we'll find a little tight bit there. So then we're going to go in there, so it's just kind of centre of our chest. Give that a little rub. If you're not sure, go in a big circle and you'll catch it. Give it a nice rub there. Might do a little bit of tapping there. So when we do the tapping, this is also a yogic practice where we tap all the energy points, all the nadis as well. So we're getting all of that at the same time. Then we're going to come to our belly button. So we're going to go, again, you might just poke around and see if anything feels tight, and then you're going to give it all a rub. So all directions around the belly button. You might just want to go up, down, circles, figure of 8. A little bit of scratching nails even. So it's fast and light, and then we might just give it a nice tapping. Again, the vagus nerve, it runs from the brainstem all the way down through the throat, in and around all of this. So we're always stimulating that in a good way as well. Then we're going to go to our hip creases. So again, little rub. Slaps, little karate chops, nice and light touch. We're not getting in anywhere too deep. And then we're going to go to the backs of our knees. So we're just kind of into that back of the knee. So we're going to, if you want to feel if it's tight, we're above and below the calf, but then you just want to get into a little bit of rubbing there, above and below. And again, slaps. Just take a moment to stand Still, when you've done that, that's the big 6, super quick. Just belly breathe, just notice how the body feels having done that. You might feel a little energized, you might feel a little buzzing, tingling. So having cleared those points that get really tight, obviously as you can imagine we sit so much, we choke these points, they're literally called choke points, we choke them, our knees are tight and bent, all these areas get very, very tight, collapsed and sore and blocked up. So now we've unlocked them, we want to move a little bit. So we're going to take that little rhythmical twisting that we did earlier. So this time make it a little bit bigger, so bend the knees as you turn, have a little twist. Arms can really fling outwards so that we're getting lots of movement. You might think a bit of an up-down movement. So any movement after we unblock the lymph is good, especially if we're using the whole body and the arms. And then feet just hip distance. We'll take a big inhale, lift up onto the toes, land the heels, exhale, swing. Inhale, lift, exhale, drop. So this is a nice one just energetically anyway, but also we get to move all that lymph around the whole body at the same time. And we're pumping by lifting up onto the calves. They're an important pump for the lymph, as is our belly breath. One more. And then just come to stand, let those arms lose their momentum perhaps. Just come to that feet hip distance, shoulders down and back, gentle mountain pose, eyes closed. Belly breathing. Just checking in again and noticing what you feel. Good. So we're going to come to a little bit of standing balance. We're not going to take the Ashtanga variations today. We're going to take a little bit of standing half lotus coming into a little modified standing half lotus. So start with your right knee. You're going to start to just draw the knee into chest. If you don't want to take standing half lotus, feel free to just hold any of these as a balance, any point. But we're going to just prepare the knee for our standing half lotus first, and then take the foot back behind. So we start to stretch through the quads. Bring the knee back up, take the knee wide, pull the foot away, and then we're going to bring it into that hip crease in with the heel. So we keep that left hand on top of our toes and we wrap the right arm round, grabbing for our elbow. I lied because this is our Ashtanga variation, our standing half lotus, so we can stay here if we want. So finding that balance, finding that kind of point to where we feel good. Options are to keep that heel in, or slide it down towards the top of the knee as you bend into the knee, and then we're pressing the knee wide. So this ends up as quite a nice little stretch into our glutes. So we're in that kind of figure 4 that we might take lying on our backs, but we're standing and balancing all at once. So then we might take the arms nice and wide, and imagine we're kind of tipping over the edge of a pool, about to dive in, and then we might bring those arms round and down. If we can reach the floor, we do so by bending that bottom leg. We can tuck and wrap the foot around our tricep. We're making a little balance point for our knee on our triceps. If you're still with me, we're going to think about popping that foot back and lifting up our floating pigeon, flying pigeon. Otherwise, we're just staying any point along the line. Good. So we might be just reaching for the floor. We might be standing even, just enjoying this beautiful glute stretch. Lovely. And then release. Give it a little shake out. Nice. So obviously in advanced posture, our flying pigeon, but we don't have to go there. We can just use all the stages before, and this might be the stage you're at, and that is absolutely fine. So you might just be standing here. So knee to chest, that left knee now. Bring the foot behind, so you can keep the knee in line as we take that stretch through the front of the leg. So each part of this preparation, just preparing the leg, the foot, the knee, the hip for our standing half lotus. So bringing that foot out and then heel into the hip crease. Breathe, hold with the right hand, left arm wraps round. So that's our Ashtanga standing half lotus. That might be where we stay, just balancing. If we want to explore a little bit of movement, we come into dropping that foot down the thigh towards the knee, just above the knee, and then we're pressing the left knee wide. And that might be where we stay. It's such a nice glute stretch. I could stay here all day. It's really lovely. So then we might fold a little bit further, reach the arms back, and that also might be where we stay, just balancing, kind of looking over the edge almost. Then we can bring those hands around, we can find the floor, we might just be in the fold, we might really bend into that standing leg, land the hands, make a little shelf with our elbows, our forearms, and our triceps, hooking on with that left foot now, around the tricep and lifting the right foot for our flying pigeon if we feel we can go there. Beautiful. Coming up and back slowly. Awesome, under control. And then shake it all out, let it go. Good. Whew, that gets you warm, doesn't it? Balancing always gets you warm. So just coming back to the front of your mats, into our mountain pose. Take a big inhale. Sweep those arms up, palms touch, exhale, diving forwards into fold. Inhale, long flat back, and exhale, fold. Walk, step or jump back to plank or chaturanga. Coming through to your up dog and pressing back to your down dog. So we're going to think about taking a few little bunny hops here if we have space, and if we feel we can. Our bunny hops might be tiny, they might be big, they might be somewhere in between. Or we're thinking about jumping our feet to our hands or through our hands and coming to a seated position. Awesome. So just ground through the sit bones when you get there, pull those toes back, lifting those heels away from the floor and lift tall through the chest, long through the spine, and just rest the hands, rest elbows gently, so shoulders away from the ears. Toes are spread, breathing, lifting tall through the crown. Our Dandasana, our L shape. One more breath, perfectly working that core, our spinal muscles. Inhale, lift through the arms, let the heels drop if you need as you exhale, tip forwards and find that long fold. So we might grab hold of the calves, the shins, or grabbing hold of the toes if they're there. So just breathe as you try and again use those little exhales to maybe shuffle that a little bit lower. Lots of long exhales here. So just maybe count your next exhale. And then we're going to have a little practice, so you can sit yourself up gently and carefully as you come up. Let's sit our legs into butterfly while we're here. So just bring the soles of the feet together. You can use your thumbs to just open the soles of the feet like a book and draw the knees wide, and we'll lift tall. So we'll stay here. So we're going to, hopefully you got your little count. I think mine was 5 or 6, I've forgotten now. So we're going to also try a different technique to increase our exhales. And now, if you don't want to do this out loud because you've got people in your house and you don't want to sound weird, that's absolutely fine. You can just do a long exhale or sigh it out, that's fine. Otherwise, you're going to do a big long voo with me. So we're going to go inhale and then voo. Wish I'd counted. Oh. And release. So as you can tell, it really lengthens the exhale. So I didn't count that one because I was concentrating on vooing. So you can do one more or 2 more if you want to. So maybe counting and just seeing, or just enjoying that long sound. When we chant, we're also working into the vagus nerve as well. And finding that long exhale helps us to calm and be in that parasympathetic state. So one more voo, still pressing those knees wide. Voo. And then just allow your breath to settle. So I think I counted to 16, but it was hard to count and do voo and not change my, I was like voo, four, voo. Trying not to count and sing. So you might fold forwards a little bit in your butterfly if you want a little bit more. And then gently coming back up if you're folded. So we're going to take our seated half lotus. So you're going to straighten out your left foot. Option just to keep the right foot tucked in as it is here. And then we can fold forwards. Otherwise, if you're coming to half lotus, we're squeezing the knee to the chest first, dropping the knee wide, lift that heel away, and then we tuck that heel into the hip crease. So we get our seated half lotus, sitting nice and tall. Again, we keep the left hand on the foot, the right arm wraps around to find that elbow that's tucked behind us. Don't forget that left foot, keep pulling that back. So we can breathe here. You might find that this right hand reaches all the way to the toe and you can hook on. If you can, great. Then if you are hooked, I'm not, but if you were, you would fold forwards there. But otherwise, we're just staying with that little hook here. Beautiful. And breathing. So you might choose to stay folded if you're folded. If you haven't quite got the bind, you might release those hands, bending that left leg, that straight leg, and tucking it underneath the right knee. So we come to another modified version of our half lotus. So this might be where we stay. And this again, we're really opening up through the backs of the hips here. So you might just gently press into the knees as you fold forwards, or even reach forwards to fold here in that little tucked half lotus position. If you want to try full lotus, if the knee is touching the foot, then you know that you're pretty much there. If you move that foot forwards and the knee is nice and close to the floor, you might then be able to pull that other foot up and over to find lotus, if that feels okay for you. It can be really intense. For me, it's that ankle, the back ankle, that I find intense. You might find knees don't like it. Please don't push into this. But if you feel like you can get there, have a go. Breathing wherever you are. So you might be folded forwards here. One more breath. And then when you're ready, if you're folded, just coming back up, carefully releasing any bound feet. So just gently unraveling, and especially that top foot might need a little bit of a rub through the knee. The ankle might need a nice circle to release. With the same leg, bend the other foot, bend the other knee, and then just pop that same, so that right leg still in that kind of figure of four. We're going to shuffle the hips towards that left heel. So the right foot is over, left foot, that's it, on the floor, perfect. And we're shuffling forwards, and we can press through the chest, lift through the crown of the head, good. So again, we might get a little stretch here. You might want a little bit of movement, and then you might want to see how it feels to just drop that right foot over so we get that twisting motion again. So we're in a little bit of a stretch, a little gentle twist here. Breathe. And then we'll roll back through center. So just kick the legs open, bring the knees a little bit wide, little gentle windscreen wiper. Just tune into the legs. So my right leg now feels totally different to my left. So just tuning into how they feel. And then we're straightening out that right leg, and remembering option just to bring the foot in to the inside of the thigh, and then we can fold forwards from here, or we're hugging the knee in, dropping the knee wide, bringing the heel away before we bring it over into that hip crease. So we hold with the right hand this time, left arm wraps around to find the elbow, or maybe it can grab hold of those toes if they're close enough. If not, we're lifting tall, staying there. If we've got the left hand on the left foot, it's very confusing this, we can fold forwards. So breathing. So again, maybe staying there, or exploring if we bring that bottom leg underneath to see what this side is doing. So both our hips will feel quite different perhaps. So we might explore kind of having this modified half lotus and folding forwards and enjoying how that feels on that left hip this time. Maybe if that knee is nice and close to the foot or the floor, we can think about bringing the right foot up and over for the the full lotus, sorry. But again, not pushing into anything, not staying there if it feels uncomfortable, and finding a spot that we can maybe stay into and Breathe. If you find you're sort of there but the ankle's too uncomfortable, we can always bring that foot into the knee crease as well. That's an option, just to stack those feet and shins in a nice parallel line. One more breath wherever you are. And then gently, carefully walking your way up, carefully unravelling the legs, the feet. Give the knees a little rub if they need, ankles a little circle, release. So right foot lands, left foot over the back of that or top of that knee, and then we're shuffling the bottom forwards so that we get that nice stretch, and lift through the chest when you're there. Breathe. And then again, we might take a little rock here, or we might drop that foot all the way over so we get that little twist. When that stretch kind of changes position, if we move slightly, again, that's probably the fascia. Those little bits that are attached to the muscles that might be tight in a different spot, or it might be released in a different spot, it might feel easier. So I'm going to roll back through centre, just unravel the feet, little windscreen wipers. And then just lie yourself onto your back. If you do want to grab hold of a jumper or socks or anything as you start to move back, then do. So when you found your lying down position, just give yourself a nice full body stretch. Press those arms away, press the heels away. And then just draw the right knee into the chest. Give it a nice squeeze, hug in. And then we're going to roll that right leg over to the left side. So roll onto the outside of the left hip. And then just, if you find your right shoulder's lifted, shuffle your shoulders through so that the back can, or top of the back can be as flat as possible. So this knee, if it doesn't touch the floor, we can always prop it if we need to. If we've got pillows, cushions, bolsters, blocks, whatever. Doesn't matter if you haven't, let gravity do the work. So we're in that nice twist, and we can look towards our right hand. Our arms are spread wide if we've got space. So when we stay in the twist, we let gravity unwind everything, releasing all that tension on the fascia again. The twists are really good to actually neutralise any kind of sticky parts of our spine. So when we twist it, we actually help to neutralise everything, bring it back to its neutral, best position. One more breath here. So carefully and gently just roll back through centre. You might need to lift those hips, just land them again. If you do have anything propping up, you can pop that to the other side. So right leg long, left knee hugs into chest. Give it a squeeze in, and then roll that left leg over. And again, if you find that the left shoulder really comes with it, just shuffle the right shoulder underneath. So we're trying to leave that left shoulder as close to the floor as possible so we get that twist. Oh, you might get a little pop in the back like that. And we're looking to that left hand so that the neck is also involved in the twist, that full spinal twist, just belly breathing. Slowing the breath back down. And then gently and carefully roll back through centre. And just hug the knees in a little bit wider this time. And again, just a little maybe rock side to side, massaging the lower back. If there's anything you'd like to do here, maybe a little happy baby. If there's any other final movements you'd like to take to complete your practice, now is your chance. But if you're ready to, you're just going to lie down, let those legs find a comfortable position, whether that's feet wide, knees dropping in to flatten the back, or whether the legs are wide into that starfish shape, our corpse pose, our final resting position of Shavasana. So So just allow yourself to land fully onto the mats, thinking through the body again as we did earlier, relaxing the face, the head, the neck. Bring those shoulders away from ears. Just allow the fingertips to be gently curled inwards, not holding onto any tension anywhere if possible. Letting go. Just allowing yourself to be, for the last few moments, and feeling free to stay in Shavasana for as long as you'd like to. Perhaps you would like to start to think about finding some movement again, bringing it back into your body. Wriggling your toes and wriggling your fingers. You might take a full body stretch. Hug the knees into the chest if it feels nice. Maybe rolling onto whichever side you feel called to roll onto. And if you feel comfortable finding a seat, coming up, just keeping eyes closed, or maybe just head bowed down. We'll just close the practice with a few breaths together. Take a big inhale, fill up, sigh, let it go. Inhale deeply, exhale completely. Inhaling to Om. May my thoughts be clear and calm. May my words be truthful and kind. And may my heart be open to give and receive all the love in the universe. Namaste.